Okay, so it will look like we're going to start, and hopefully you are here to see the introduction to discus and the importance of the entry positions and the entry swing into the full discus throw. So this is the aim. This is what we aim to do by the end of this webinar this evening, and these are the objectives that we will get out of this webinar and what you should get out of this webinar. And if you have any questions over these, then please put them in the box for later on. So we're going to understand the importance of the discus full entry. So that is the entrance of the throw, the technical cues. Introduce the importance of discus orbit throughout the throw, highlight some common areas, adapt the entry, finding athletes' personal traits, and how does the sprint position transfer into a linear discus throw. So with all the discus throws that we're looking at, they are all right-handed throwers. So we won't be exploring left-handed technical cues. It'll all be based around right-handed throws, okay? And I am using a lot of pictures, videos from the best discus throwers in the world to highlight key positions. And there will be some local discus throwers scattered throughout it. So full points if you can put those in the question box and know who they are. So what are we looking at this evening? This is a very old textbook drawing of the throw. We are looking at the swing, as they call it, the turn into the middle of the throw. For me, looking at that, the swing is broken down into three positions, and I feel that within modern discus throwing, the entry is one of the most important parts of the throw and really sets up the whole throw. So a better picture for us to describe and where we're going to be is good this here. Okay, so we're going to be looking at mainly points A, B, and C. Okay, so we have the entry in A, the swing, the back swing, the B, the movement onto the left leg, and C, the sprint, as we will come into all of these. Okay, throughout the presentation or towards the back end of it, we will go and touch slightly on D, E, and F. But again, I could be talking here all night for D, E, and F, and there will be later webinars, later Q&A sessions, later Zoom drop-in sessions that we can discuss D and F, okay? But if you do have any questions, again, pop them in the question box and we can come back to that, okay? So, keywords I'm going to be saying a lot of throughout this presentation here, and that's connection with the floor and implement, okay? So, connection with the floor, connection with the discus circle. I feel that if you are going to transfer power, speed, wherever into the discus, you must be connected with the floor. As soon as your feet are off the floor, you kind of lose that connection with the implement and to apply force. And then again, connection with the implement. I mean that, and that lends probably into the separation of the shoulder to the discus and the hip to the discus. The next is stable, strong core, athletic posture. Okay, so I will highlight on a few of those, and we won't go into large amounts of fundamental movements like we may have done in the shot webinar, but that is a key point. Locked and loaded and stretch reflex. Again, these all kind of link into one and each other. And locked and loaded, I mean the natural progression of the body into the sprint position, how you load your body to get the most out of it. So what do I mean by hip to shoulder, okay? Perkovic here is going to demonstrate or going to show everyone what I mean by hip to shoulder. So you have full understanding of what I am actually saying. So hip to shoulder, we have here 2 points. Sorry, 1 second. We will have technical issues throughout this, so don't worry. So we have the shoulder here up in the top circle and the hip bone at the front of the hip in the right. This is what I mean here is hip to shoulder separation, okay? Hip to shoulder separation, that is what I'm looking at and what I refer to on that. Next one is the shoulder to discus separation. Okay, so I will discuss shoulder to discus separation, but we're not looking at just hip to discus. We are looking at that, but there are other components of that separation we're looking at. And the shoulder to discus is one of the key points. So this red mark highlights the area of the discus that could be if there's no separation. If the discus is down here, there's no separation. This is why, and someone will explore in the later Q&A and Zoom sessions, is shoulder mobility, shoulder health is so key in having that flexibility to really get the most out of the discus throw. So find your rhythm. We have John Powell here, known him, an older discus thrower, but probably one of the main discus throwers I do look at through other influences. And then on the bottom left is your Daniel style, okay? Two, the best throwers or discus throwers the world's ever seen, but they are individual, okay? They found their own rhythm. No one person is the same, no one thrower is the same. They have key points, they have key areas that they both work on, but not one will be exactly the same as the other in terms of angles, etc. And then at the bottom, three things I like to highlight in terms of posture, balance, and rhythm. We're all dancers within a circle, whether it be hammer, shot, or discus, or even on the javelin runway. So what are we looking at? Same but different. I've said this before. So here we have two athletes with a bigger backswing, okay? So they have a bigger backswing, okay? Perkvich on the left, Discus on the right-hand side. Nice long arms and relaxed, but they are different compared to any other athletes. And this is what I mean by different. This is now Danny Samuels and obviously the great Gert Kanter below. That is the start of their throw. So we have four throwers, four of the best throwers, the second all-time woman, the fourth all-time male, I believe. Four throwers, two different setup styles, okay? The discus in this slide is not as far back in the swing, same with Danny Samuels, and in the previous slides in Perkvich and Discus, okay? There are four different ways of entering in just those two slides. Every athlete will be the same, and that's why I come back to really find the athlete's rhythm, okay? Don't one shoe fits all, is we have to work on the discus. Look at the discus aerodynamic of Perkvich is flat, with Discus it's a little bit higher, okay? So that is key. Athletic position, strong, head up, head on the horizon, okay? They are key things across all four of those, okay? They're all in athletic positions. They're all locked and loaded. They all are creating that stretch reflex. They are all starting to add velocity onto that implement throughout the throw. They're strong, okay? I mean by strong core, strong hips. Hips within any event, whether it be triple jump, long jump, high jump, sprinting. If you have weak hips, weak core, you can't really affect the throw. You can't really put the power through the ball. And then head up, head on the horizon. Something that we will see with young athletes that don't have the confidence within the throw is look down at the circle. But obviously the head is like the rudder, and that will pull you to where it is. But that's just to highlight four throwers, four different things. So even though I am speaking about specific technical cues, they are not all the same. So key points to the start of the swing or static entry, depending how and what you want to do it. And I'd like to start the static entry, and the swing entry is very based upon the athlete that you are. So we have a strong athletic squat oriented stance. As you can see with Gert Kanter, with connection to the left foot grounded to the discus. This is something I really will go into. It's something I feel very strongly in the start of the throw. It's that connection from the left foot grounded to the floor, to the discus circle, and to the discus. Length and relaxation, okay? It's all about having that strong, powerful position, but then to be long and relaxed. Movement is initiated with the left heel, inner knees pushing out, which I will explain a little bit more in the slides coming up. Shifting body weight from right to the middle, and then obviously onto the left leg. Discus back and relaxed, and really a no upper body takeover, okay? The upper body is really a passenger to that lower body in the start of the throw. All that is meant to do there is keep the discus back, keep relaxed, and really create that separation, create the orbit, create the distance traveled by the discus. Okay, so onto the backswing. Okay, so we have three discus throws here. We have Mac Wilkins on the left, we have Malkosi on the bottom right, and then obviously our Welsh national record holder Brett Morse, albeit a younger version on the top right. Okay, and this is what I mean in getting back to that backswing, is having that left foot connected. Okay, and you might say, oh well, they're all different, but the toes, they're not up, they're onto the ball of their left foot, they're not up on our toes, they're not lifting on the left side up, even though the body weight is over the right hand side. The left foot, when the discus stops in that backswing, is connected to the floor. And that is very important, is when that discus stops in that backswing, that left foot is really connected to the floor, okay? Why? Because that left foot initiates the throw. If that left foot is not connected to the floor, if the balls of the feet are not ready to accelerate that heel and move the body and shift the body weight from the right leg of the thrower onto the left leg of the thrower, then that is time that the discus can then catch up. Okay, the discus can then become unseparated if you were a better use of a word. Okay, so in this position, strong hips, strong positioning, head up. Okay, discus is just above parallel, discus is just back. 3 throwers there, 3 very different starting points, but one key point is that foot and left foot is grounded. Okay, so initiating the throw. So with the left heel push to load the left leg. So how are we gonna start that? Obviously, we're gonna want to start it with our left heel, very similar to the rotational throw. We really crank that left heel whilst keeping the discus back nice and long. Okay. Sorry. So from the left foot, the knees really, the left knee then turns, and then the hips come into the throw. Same on the left mat, as you see from the other position, is that first movement is that left heel pushing around, okay? Body weight shifts from the right to the left of the thrower. Okay, so relax, discus above shoulder, length leading to increased orbit. And this is a good, I like the red arrow is where the discus is gonna go, okay? Why is the discus up, nice and relaxed with long arms? It's because as soon as that discus drops, the orbit drops, okay? And we will come into what is the orbit. I will go into that in case you are thinking about that. We are going to go into what is the orbit and what do I mean about that over the next couple of slides. But we just started at the backswing, and the backswing is really allowing that discus to open up, creating that separation and getting ready to increase the velocity of the throw. If the left foot is grounded, you then have connection through the left foot all the way to the discus, from the lower half part of the body, through the strong hips, through the strong core, all the way to the discus. You are basically setting up the discus to travel on its 8-9 meters on average around the circle, if you have good orbit, that is, and you're increasing velocity into that release. So, next we have Daniel Starr. I touched upon earlier about having that strong core, strong legs, strong hips. Essentially, this here is a squat stance, okay? We're looking at a high squat. He has now shifted his body weight. He has started the swing. He has now shifted his body weight into the middle. This is why we need strong core, strong hips. He shifted his weight. Discus is now directly behind his right glute, and he is starting to shift his body weight from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. If this was good canter starts in this position. Again, we'll come on to that in a little bit, but he starts in a strong position. The connection is there, okay? Those feet are grounded, head is high, arms are nice, long, and relaxed, legs are loaded, ready to go. Weight is moving from the right to the left, or right to the middle, then to the left. And then this next slide, you can really see with our pink line, those discus arms are nice and long. He has created the maximum distance that discus can travel. Why do we want to create the maximum distance? Is because that allows us to apply speed to the implement. Okay, if we go back to this position here, and we are not in a good position to start, or we start the throw with the upper body, if we start pulling this left arm here, then this discus is going to start moving around, and we're going to lose orbit. Okay, we're going to lose connection, we're going to lose separation. So, as you can see below, move left, left foot initiate, discus drops behind glute, right foot opens, relax and wrong, strong left and leg and hip, okay? So this is really where the condition of the strong hip, strong core really comes into, okay? You can see there just from the positions that Fabiero and Perkovic are getting into, that they are positions that you need to be athletic for. These are athletic positions, okay? All right, strong left leg. Perkovic's body weight is moved over to the left-hand side. She's still in connection. That left shoulder is still inside of that left heel. The left foot is grounded on the floor. Discus, nice separation, hip to shoulder, shoulder to discus is very good. And then we move on to that middle slide. Okay, we start moving around the back. Okay, Caballero. The left foot is turned. Okay, this is important, and something we'll explore in a few other slides is really using that left heel and cranking that left heel without using the upper body. Okay. All these throwers, or all these two throwers, the discus is still behind that glute. The discus hasn't come in front of that right hip. It hasn't encroached. The left arm is still held back, okay? This is a throw started, initiated by the lower body, okay? Two different throwers. You could straight away put them into a sequence of technique with those three there, okay? And the last slide to the right, and this is something I want to highlight, and which is, you know, one of the best throws of all time. Look at that left foot there. That left foot is accelerating straight to the front of the circle. That sprint, as we'll come into in the next couple of slides, that strong left hip, that strong leg is really moving the body weight. The body weight is really loaded onto that left side. That allows you to spring across the circle. And where is the discus? Discus is back behind the glute. The discus hasn't come forward. Left arm hasn't come past the left hip, okay? These are important things that you really don't want to start using the upper body to start the throw. As soon as you start using the upper body or the left arm to swing into the throw, that's when you lose connection with the discus. You might have some young athletes that go, oh, I can't feel the discus, I can't hit it at the end. That's because essentially they're using the upper body to get across the circle, and the discus is not behind them to apply force or to even fly it, as the discus is a very aerodynamic event. That's something we'll come into in a little bit. Again, if you have any questions, just please put them in the box, and I can ask them towards the end. If you're wondering about the right foot open on the bottom, we're going to come into that in a couple of slides. Okay, again, we've got three more discus throwers. We have Hartin, Kanter, and Malakowski, Rio 2016. Again, same positions from the very best discus school. The body weight is moved over to that left side. Left arm of Malakowski on this slide here. Just going to highlight on this slide here. Left arm is still there, okay? It hasn't pulled. Left shoulder is still strong. Discus is still behind the glute. Right foot is now off the floor. Right foot is not connected, but we have the full forceless body weight on the left-hand side. He is loading that left leg to sprint across the circle. In the middle, Kurt Kanter, one of the best from the low to high into the middle of his orbit. This position here, okay? Left hip, left glute really hasn't fallen away into this position, okay? That is a big indicator of the thrower rotating the upper body. If this sort of position or this part of the body really falls into this middle, is loaded onto that left leg. Left heel is turned, right foot is open, discus is nice, and you can't really see it, but the discus is nice and long behind his glute, relaxed upper body, left arm is pointing forward. He's ready to accelerate across the circle. And the next slide here of Christoph Hartin is really, again, look at this position, that left leg. That glute here is not moving, is not falling down. He's in a strong position. He is driving, he is sprinting across the circle. Discus is nice and relaxed, up above, arms along, really creating that circumference or that orbit that they can apply the discus speed and have the foot moving. The discus moving. So, right foot, right circle of Hartin on the bottom right-hand side, the right foot is open. And what do I mean by this, okay? You'll see it with some throwers will come and they'll have their if you think this is the foot, it will come in through, kick it with the inside of the right foot, okay, as if you do the side, just a side pass in the football, okay? If the foot starts turning over and those toes start facing the floor and you really kind of bring the little pinky around, what can happen then is the left side falls over, okay? Essentially, you're cutting the discus travel time by pulling that right foot over, okay? That's why it's important, and it is a very hard thing to do because your natural thing is to put the laces down and put your foot through into the center of the circle. It is important to keep the inside of that right foot open into the center of the circle, okay? And this is really the whole entry, okay? All these slides, all these different technical points coming through this start. And the start is very important. It's one of the moments of the throw you control 100%. I talk about my athletes that throughout the throw, you control certain percentages of that throw. Towards the end, you know, whatever happens at the start is really what you got at the end, okay? You can do technical tweaks and you can do a lot of drills that will help it, but that start of the throw is what you control 100%. You cut that backswing short, you cut loose on the left foot, you don't allow that right leg, or you don't shift the weight effectively over to the left-hand side, you will lose the circumference of the throw. You will lose the time to apply pressure. And this right foot is just another one of those points. Right, just gonna get a drink. So, quick review, and this is coming towards the end of the entry, and I wanted to review what we've just been through. So, again, and I just had my big spiel because I feel passionate about it, is that 100% control of the entry. Don't rush. A lot of young kids will get in a circle and they feel worried about getting in a circle, so they will just do a quick backswing and they just get into the discus. Then you will see their left arm pulling over, bowling the discus above the head. That's really upper body dominated, and that's something that you look to do, okay? Set up the throw, use the physical loading and the reflex of the body. So that is using that stretch reflex, keeping the discus back, strong hip, strong core, long and relaxed. So, and by long and relaxed, I don't mean not dynamic. It is a dynamic athletic position, but it's learning that, okay? Something that athletes take a long time to do. Some will have it as a rhythm or an innate ability just to relax the upper body. Some will be a little bit more upper body dominant. Open right thing. The right foot opening into the middle is something that is easy to some and just unnatural to others, just because of the way they or what other sports they've done in the past. And the left heel, the left kicking of the heel, and this is something I probably haven't highlighted enough throughout this throw. Is if this left heel, as we can see on the Perkovich or the right, is not fully turned, you can cut the throw pretty badly. Essentially, your left glute and your left part of your body will fall into the middle. And I probably haven't done a good enough job in highlighting that left heel in starting the throw. That is important. The left heel starts the throw. You kick that left heel, you load the throw, you sprint towards the middle. Okay, long and relaxed. We create that separation. We've already gone through that. We create the separation. Suddenly we talk about separation. What is separation? Keeping that discus back. Great. Keep the discus behind the glute. Head up and strong athletic position. Okay, let's move on. So, sprint, transition into the center. So we've done all those technical points. We moved into around the back into a South African position. What do I mean by sprint? People will say, well, this is throwing. We don't sprint, we don't run. Yeah, you do, okay? We sprint across the circle. We've got Carlos on the left. Look at that position. We have Pearson in the middle, I think. And look at that position. How similar are those positions? Other than the arms, look at the knee bend. Look at the push off this left leg. Look at this drive with the right knee. Look at the open right foot. Look at the hip pushing forwards. These are the positions, exactly the same positions of a sprinter, okay? What are we doing? We're creating speed across the circle. Without speed, you don't throw the discus, especially the 2K discus prop. You don't throw with false speed, okay? False speed, what do I mean by false speed? That's just throwing your head around the circle, okay? Throwing your head, throwing your left arm around the circle. That creates that false speed. Get into this throw. If you've ever seen, or you would have seen Usain Bolt running, he looks so relaxed, but he is generating an enormous amount of power and speed across the circle, okay? This is the position we're looking at, okay? Right arm is still long and relaxed. Left arm is moving into the middle and is flat and high, okay? We don't really want to see the left arm dropping here. Something we'll come into the next slide is the left arm, and some people will say you don't want to open your left arm too much in the middle. That's fine. Some people have different rhythms. You don't want to control the left arm too much in the middle because it can affect the speed, okay? That is very something to your own rhythm and how you feel. On the right-hand side, we've got Alan Davis here, one of our greatest Paralympic throwers, and we can see here, this is the sprint position, okay? We turn it around to the back, it's the same position. Discus is back behind the right glute, left arm is up, head is facing the throw, knee is dropping down, and just starting to drop down, and we're sprinting across the circle, okay? We talk about, all right, it's a rotational throw, we talk about in a rotational shot. It's a rotational, no. It's a rotational throw. The discus goes around the rotational, but the upper body, especially the lower body, is a linear sprint across the circle, okay? And I know I should stop saying okay. All right, so Scott Martin here, okay? I just wanted to use this. It's not the best, but it is a very good photo of what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to get out the back, okay? Okay, his eyes may be looking a little bit down, but we can give it to him. He's a very good thrower. So left knee is down, left knee is sprinting across the circle. On the toes, the left foot is turned. left arm is locked, left arm is not pulling, discus is behind the glute, right leg is open into the center, okay? Left arm is held, but again, this is very personalized to the room. Look at that position. The core strength, the leg strength, the fundamental movements, and just the ability to move. You know what I mean? Don't stagnate your throw. It's just a throw. You have to learn to move. You have to learn to be on that single support. He is on single support here, okay? If you can't do a single leg hop, how are you going to expect to accelerate across the circle? Okay. Sprint face, orbit, high point. You'll hear me shouting this if you've ever seen it. Sprint face, orbit, high point. And like probably the best ever discus thrower to go from low to high. And really that was probably Gert Kanter's trademark, was that such high orbit in the middle, okay? Again, I don't expect you to get this amount of orbit, especially in that right side at the beginning for all our throwers, but it creates that speed. It creates that momentum. I said earlier, the discus travels 8 to 9 meters in the circle. 8 to 9 meters. Okay, that's 8 to 9 meters to apply force. And these are for the world's best athletes. Okay, 8 to 9 meters. It might be if you're 11, 12, 13 year athlete, it's going to be significantly less, but that's just due to arm span, height, etc. But that is the time, that is the meterage that you have to apply force to the discus. Again, so he's turning, he's sprint. Look at his right leg. This is something I want to highlight. Look at that right foot here. Right foot is open. Those little pinky toes out there haven't turned into the middle. Hip. This is important. Do we lead with that hip here? That is key. We push this hip forward. This hip bone needs to be driving across the circle. Think of that photo that I went back to, and actually I'm going to go back to this because it's such a great photo. Think of that photo of Carlos. This hip behind this right leg is pushing forward, okay? That is the same position that we have here with Gert Kanter, okay? That hip is about to explode across that circle. Left arm is nice and relaxed. Right arm is very nice and relaxed. Behind the glute, head up, facing the direction of the throw. If this head is turning, if this head is peaking, you're going to pull across the left side of the throw. Sorry. And this is not something, this is just 1,000 reps. This is tens of thousands of throws that you begin to hit these key positions. Why I'm using the best throws in the world, I like to analyze the best throws. I like to look at the best throws in the world and see if my athletes are doing the same. If they're not doing the same, unless it's a personal rhythm issue or maybe a physical issue, then we need to work on that, okay? Again, look at this great orbit. Okay, so face and sprint. Again, we come back to this good position just because I like this and how it really highlights the need to sprint. So the head and chest is facing the direction of the throw. Left arm does not pull, but again, sometimes in some circumstances, for myself when we're coaching on this, he has to pull with his left arm, but that is more of a physical makeup and the need to create that speed in the throw. So we allow a little bit of movement on that. But again, if you can hold it relaxed, that can create some issues in driving across the circle. Okay? Again, you want to get that big open chest. So it is about using that rhythm, thousands of throws, 10,000s of throws, to really create that stretch reflex with your upper body. Okay. Dynamic but relaxed. Right foot open into the center prior to landing. Again, if you look at his right foot in this position here, his right foot is not open, okay? His right foot is not turning in too early. It is open. Sorry, guys. We just have a couple of questions. I will come back to those in a short while towards the end, okay? So the right foot is open into the middle. Maximum travel for the discus can be compromised with the right foot turning in, okay? And this is something I highlighted a little bit earlier. If the right foot does turn in too early, essentially you're going to become a sort of ballerina where you really pull that discus in too soon, okay? So you're thinking, and I'll be able to highlight on the next slide, and actually I may move on to the next slide. So we'll move on to 2 slides, sorry, is when that right foot turns in, you can pull the discus down. The discus can drop just because you're accelerating into the middle too hard. Discus drops for posture, for balance, and then you lose distance. And you lose distance, the discus is traveling, that means you lose velocity. Okay, just a couple of videos just to highlight what I mean of the sprint. Okay, so we have left, we have Perkovic from the back. Okay, so we'll just watch that again. So you see how quickly she has moved from back to front. Discus is low behind glue into the high orbit. Okay, the next one is Ala Davis. You can really see him moving low to high, accelerating across the circle. Okay, we can play that again. It is buffering a bit, guys. I'm sorry about that. Low to high, well, like we say, the eyes a little bit low into the middle, but good acceleration from low to high, creating that orbit. Some people, and this is just my personal preference, will not really focus on the right high orbit into the middle, but it creates speed on the discus, and this is very key, and this is how you set her up out the back. Okay, so what do I mean and what can we measure? Right foot touchdown to discus high point. So something that I feel is key is as that right foot touches down in the middle, the discus is at its highest point. So it is at its lowest point behind the glute in the sciatic in the sprint, and it is now at its highest point as the right foot lands. This creates separation. This creates time to increase the implement speed. This knees together, pushing the knees together. Why are we pushing the knees together? The knees come apart. That left leg is going to take 3 weeks to get down to the front. What do? We lose speed. We lose connection with the ground. We lose connection with the discus. We lose time to apply force to the discus. High point creates more velocity and transfer time to increase the release velocity. Okay, you know we are looking at 23 to 24 of the very best guys in the world of meters per second of release. That is fast if you think of that's how fast the discus is moving. You have to create that high point, you create that orbit. It gives you that natural separation. It gives you that natural reflex of the body to accelerate the discus. Again, Perkovic on the top right, her left arm is like no one else. No one is recreating our left arm. Okay, no, I can't even do that sitting down. That left arm is there. That's why she creates so much time, so much separation. Right foot is connected, left leg is coming out. You might say the knees are a little bit far apart, but I can't judge on her. But she's creating that orbit. She's creating that speed on the discus. Okay, so this is what I wanted to come to earlier. This below. In this circle here is a study from London 2017, the World Championships, and this is actually Gerd Kanter's map of the discus that travelled within his best throw. So the photo on the left is a competition in Helsingborg, I believe. One of his well, it's just there's some great photos. Okay, and he's created this great T position. This is the discus travel. So here we have that purple. That is his backswing. As you can see here, his backswing's not that far. Some of the other discus throw in the world, the backswing is going to come all the way out to here. Gerd Kanter starts in the middle. Red is when that discus starts moving. When the transfers over the left-hand side. Orange is the flight time for him, and then the yellow is bringing it around, and then the green really is the release into the finish. Okay. Why have we got that? Why has he got this lovely, nice open bit here? This extra distance for the discus to travel is because he's got that high point, because he's keeping that discus relaxed, because he's allowing his upper body to relax and his legs to work. If he starts dropping that discus, if he loses that high point, all of a sudden that discus starts creeping in here. And as it gets worse, it starts creeping in. And then the release moves in as well. Why is this bad? Because you're losing distance the discus is traveling. That is lost time to apply pressure to the discus, okay? And that is something that you don't want to do. And that is something, if you have the great attributes, if you have been gifted with 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", if you're not having that orbit, or if you're not using your arm span to create that distance or the time the discus is traveling around the circle, then you're already cutting yourself short. Okay, that's why somebody with 6 inches shorter than you but has much better orbit, that creates much better distance travel by the discus, will essentially could or can throw further because they have more connection, they have more time to apply force. Right arm goes from low to high, with acceleration discus, but you have to be finding the rhythm per athlete. Knees close and head not peeking. His head is definitely not peeking. Nice and relaxed, looking back to the back of the circle, getting ready for that left foot to come down so you can really have that monster delivery. So why is orbit so important? And I have gone on about this, and this is really why it's so important about the setup. If the setup is right, you have that movement once you're in a setup at the back from the right leg into the middle onto the left support to accelerate across the circle, you set up this orbit. If you're off balance at the start of the throw, essentially your arms are going to drop, okay? And it's a lot harder to keep your arms out when you have no connection to the floor, when you're not in a strong, powerful position. So maximize this by setting up the throw. If the setup is weak, the distance travel is compromised. Cutting the entry, continue, and then obviously the big key within this slide is continuity and acceleration is key, okay? And by that, I mean, if you are accelerating the discus, so if you have a fast backswing, this is one of the things, if you have a fast swing, you throw your arms back to accelerate, you stop, then you throw your upper body, then you go, oh no, I've got to have my legs come underneath me. You're essentially stopping the discus in your right hand. You're slowing down the movement of the discus. You're slowing down the continuity of the throw. And then the left linear acceleration. Think back to that sprinter, that left to left. Let's get that left down right at the front of the circle. People are asking me, well, do you really push the left leg acceleration in the middle, or do you push the right leg? No, it needs to be both. You need to accelerate with that left leg and with that hard right leg. The open right foot is very important in the discus. It's probably more important in the rotational shot, but it's having that inside of the right throw. That accelerates, that creates speed, that creates momentum into the middle of the throw. And at the bottom here, we've got Daniel Stahl and De Kera's maps from London 2017. So these figures in terms of release angle and release speeds, these are what these two guys' release angle was between 36 and 38 both, and their release speeds are 23 to 24 meters per second. As you can see on the right-hand side, Stahl, bigger guy, has this long backswing, okay? You remember Gert Kanter we just talked about? His backswing stopped here. That's where he was loaded. That's where he was in position. That's where he felt comfortable. Daniel Stahl is a lot further back. Why wouldn't you use, a giant of a man? Why wouldn't you use those abilities you have, okay? And this is why, and I'm harping on about the setup is key. If you're not set up in this position, in a strong position, do you start accelerating the implements back here? Or do you actually start once you become onto a solid position, maybe down here, or even not until the end of the throw, okay? That's where a strong position, so as soon as that discus is moved, as soon as you start shifting your weight from the right leg, the left leg at the back of the circle, that is you've already started that acceleration of the implement. That continuity and acceleration is key. The carers on the right, as you can see, these are big guys. Look at the distance, and De Keras is probably the best in the middle, having that long stretch, okay? Keeping that discus back. Look, two throwers, both from centimeters, but very different mapping of the discus, okay? But they have those long backswings, and they accelerate across the circle, and they create meters per second out the back to throw. Okay, so orbit effect, and what can affect this orbit? Obviously, the main points around the start, and this is why this whole presentation is about. So the dropping of the right arm. What do I mean by the dropping? It's just the drop of the right arm. Again, that can be shoulder health, shoulder mobility, strength in the core, or not on that double support, even on a strong single support. Over rotation in the right foot and hip. If you're really starting too soon, accelerating that right foot into the middle, you can drop the arm. And there's something, this presentation is supposed to be followed up by a practical session, and we'll do once we're out of this lockdown phase. We can really touch into this and go into it, but that can affect it. Too much upper body speed, that is when we're at the back and we see the athletes throw their left arm into the middle, okay? That is what I mean. That is the orbit affected, and then a posture and balance affected, okay? And these are things that, everyone will have issues with, but this is 10,000 throws. 10,000 of throws will stop that dropping the right arm. We have drills, we have other things we'll go into towards the end. So, measure your contact time and connection time to apply forward. Again, we have the Norwegian thrower throwing 67 meters. I have lost his name. And then we have our young Brett Morse on the right-hand side. Again, we're just measuring. We're seeing what our young thrower is doing here. Okay, those positions are pretty similar, right? Maybe the left arm's a little bit open, but that's rhythm. This is what we're doing. We're creating that orbit. Both guys there are creating that orbit, creating that sprint across the throw. Good balance. You need good balance, okay? Once you're on those single supports, that comes back to foot, ankle strength, and health. I just wanted to highlight that. We're not going into that, but that is key there. Strong hips. Left arm pulls in slightly can help the acceleration. And discus up and separate from the right hip. So these are two photos that if you want to use, they're good photos to have into that middle, okay? Not peaking. The guy on the left, the Norwegian discus thrower, is not peaking. He's actually keeping that discus back. So transition in the power position. I did touch upon Discus being one of the best people in the world at this position. Look at the length on this. Look at where this discus is. Look at those left arms there. Look how far this discus is back. Knees are closed. Pushing to the front of the circle. He has the best sprint. I feel one of the best sprints across the circle. He really creates that speed. Maybe something else. He has some very good sprinters within his country. So maybe that's something he's picked up. He sprints across that circle. He accelerates it, okay? And then Robert Harting on the right-hand side. Robert Harting. So that discus to shoulder to hip separation. This is just before the left foot comes down. That right T position. Discus is nice back. The discus to shoulder separation. Separation from the shoulders to the hip. And we're very much going through these slides very quickly because I really wanted to focus on the start. And this is something that will come into the second webinar. But these are very good positions that you want to see throughout all throws. Okay, accelerate and deliver the left foot on ground. Okay, so this is once the left foot. We've got the back right, we've got the middle right. So we've got to the front. We finally got to the releasing of the throw round 45 minutes later after we started this presentation. Okay, but we've got to the front. We saw it out the back, we saw it in the middle, we worked on that right foot, we worked on our left arm upper end. Now what we're going to do at the front, and we're going to just touch upon on this, and I'm sorry that the slide is cut off the left arm bottom. So you accelerate and deliver with the left foot grounded. You will notice a lot of young athletes, some very good athletes will have a very tap with that left foot. You don't want to tap with that left foot. As soon as that left foot's off, you're going to fall back. You can't put power into the discus, okay? You want to keep that left foot down. Essentially, you want to keep both feet on the ground, accelerate that right foot, turn that right foot again, turn that right knee, triple extension into the finish. So what are we doing here? The right foot is turning, the right hip is turning, left arm is nice, strong block. If that left foot comes off the ground, that block is non-existent. How are we going to transfer momentum or body speed or body weight speed, whatever you want to call it, into that discus? Again, I had a great analogy in the shot, is that car crash, okay? That left foot is the car crash. Left arm is nice and high, left arm is about to lock, about to brace and transfer the discus. Look at that arrow on the right hand side. Look how far that discus is away from him, okay? You can see it just through the blur. That is a long, accelerating the discus in the throw. Right hip is still in front of that discus. That's all because he set it up. Those throws, those pitches that we started, that strong position, he set the throw up. He has set it up. He's in a strong position there. He has created that stretch reflex. An analogy for this left foot, if you are with somebody, and I don't try this, but if you have 2 feet on the ground and you try and push them, it's a lot harder to push them. If they jump up and then you push, they're going to go backwards, okay? If the feet are not on the ground throughout the throw, you are not creating power, okay? Especially at the release. If the ground is not worked in release or at the start, then you're not working anything in the throw. You can have false speed, you can have false movement with the ground. But if you do not work the floor and see that floor, if you see those shoes being dusted up, the amount you're using it, you're not working anything into the throw. Okay, so feet grounded, long movement, and acceleration to release. So, you know, we have some good throwers in the middle. I don't know if it's John or Matt Wilkins, probably in the middle. We've got obviously one of our younger great throwers in James Thomason on the left-hand side. Great hip coming through, right to discus shoulder separation. Mark Wilkins, a little bit, that left arm is really locked. And we got Daniel again. That's actually his 72, 95 meter foul he had. See how that left foot's on the ground. The discus is about to release. Right foot is actually still on the floor. Okay, if you were jumping off the finish, you have to release that discus throughout the throw. Okay, so feet grounded and long movements on acceleration into release. And I've got all these notes here now. So feet grounded on long movements and acceleration into release. Okay, these are good photos, things that you can use. See how the discus is back. The discus is moving. It's moved 8 to 9 meters around that circle. You're creating that speed. Okay, so reverse, and this is something where I don't really want to get into too much because we can talk about the last 4 or 5 slides all evening. Is reverse on completion of delivery. What do I mean by this? You don't really take that left foot off the ground until that discus is released. So until those fingers have really floated that discus away, then you don't want to pull that left side, okay? It's going to turn and you're going to have the turn of the left foot, but you want to keep the left foot on the ground for as long as you can. As soon as that left foot leaves the ground, I feel that you lose connection with the discus, and that's the end of it. You can be a massively strong guy, and you can get away with it with the younger lighter implements, but it's something to work on with the younger athletes, is keeping that feet on the floor in delivery. You can get away with it if you're a big guy with a lighter weights, but as soon as you get to that 2K, and it's not much bigger than Daniel Stahl, is you've got to keep those feet on the floor if you want those big throws. If you want to use your body to the max, okay? If you want to use your power, if you can jump, standing long jump 4 meters, okay, that'd be a lot, but 3 meters, if you're not using it, there's no point in doing it. You can squat 300-400 kilos, but if you're not using it in the circle, what is the point in doing it? Work those technical points when you're a younger athlete, okay? All right. So just a couple of things. So some of you might, I wanted to use Luke, and this is going back to the old, but I wanted to use Lucas Weisheimer, the Australian thrower. He has a massive high point, okay? And I really want you to just understand that I'm not saying I want you to get and throw the discus as high as you can every single training throw, every single coaching cue. It's about finding that rhythm, okay? It's great having that high orbit, but it can be non-consistent, okay? So you have to find the rhythm, find the natural high point, but really push it up as much as you can, okay? Because it is important. All right, so we're gonna move on now towards the end of the main bulk of the presentation. So we're going to move on now, okay, to some interactive Q&A session, which I'll be doing on Zoom. Everyone within this call will get that email to join me. And these are some things that we're going to go into, okay, because we have drills from everything I've just spoke about, okay, and these are just some that highlight it. I don't want to speak about it because we'll be here for 3 4 hours. We've got back to full drill, we've got baby drill, we've got step in, half, discus, and tool. Something I want to look at is that the use of, I call it tool, you know, the Dempsey tool or the pipes or the D-ball. Something that's very important. How do you do it? The step in, the baby turn, the half turn, the staff can drill foot, the staff can drill fixed foot with a tool, the staff can reverse, the staff can non-reverse, the full throw reverse, the full throw tool. There's so many drills we can speak about, but these are some that are going to come in an interactive Q&A session you'll all be invited to at the end of this presentation. So, other considerations, okay? And I didn't get into these tonight because it is a larger discussion and something that you look at towards the very top end. Discus is an aerodynamic event, okay? It is an aerodynamic event, so you have to learn to throw in different conditions. That is important. So the discus, everyone says, oh, you just throw the discus flat. No, you want to think about it. Let me just get the thing. So if this is the discus here, you want it sort of that tilt of the thumb and then down like that. Like this, sorry. So you have the front of the discus up and a little tilt to the angle. And that is a longer discussion, but I just wanted to highlight it as it is important that it's an aerodynamic event. So you have to throw those hundreds of throws to find how to fly a discus. Because otherwise you'll get that God-given great wind and you won't be able to use it. Or you'll be used to throwing indoors, or you'll be used to throwing the tailwind, if that's where your training base is. You have to learn to throw the discus, learn to manipulate the discus. So we've got vertical lift and horizontal drag. Discus release with the upper tilt, right side lower. This is the right-handed side throw. Ideal angle release is 32 to 38 degrees, so I don't want to go into here, but that can vary with physical throwers. If you're 6'10" or if you're 5'8", it does vary, okay? Reverse and non-reverse, okay? And shoulder mobility. Now, and someone I haven't been using this slide in is young Harry Davis from West Wales, and Matthew Ross is doing a fantastic job with him in Swansea. Is that his shoulder mobility, his shoulder health, and his relaxation is absolutely impeccable. Something that Jay Morse has as well. Okay, these things are very important and are normally overlooked. Okay, so key takeaways towards the end of this, and we'll get to some questions, is we have the foot functionality, okay? So we have that key on the balls of the feet, the strength and stability of feet and ankles. It's something that I did touch upon in the short webinar, is really having that stability of feet and ankles. Really have to condition those ankles, okay? That is very key. Reactivity, do not set them in, and that can be a misleading, okay? By not settle, you have to keep those feet on the floor and you really accelerate those hips, okay? The more the right hip is moving, the more discus is kept behind you, the better it's going to be. Connection between right foot and right hip, okay? That right foot, right hip, those using that shoulder extensions. We're talking about left foot connection, right foot connection, left foot connection. These lot of connection, this is what the Q&A is going to come. My emails as well, so I have loads of questions. Use the body position, stretch, reflex, okay? Everyone is going to have different makeup. Everyone is going to be more supple than everyone else. Don't bypass stretching. Don't bypass those fundamental movements. Use momentum to your advantage. Again, continuity is key in acceleration. And the biggest one at the bottom is willpower, okay? Something with the young athletes, none of these athletes, none of the world-class athletes I've used for this, I've had it easy, okay? And none of them have just rocked up and been sending me a throws or whether it be male or female. Willpower is key, okay? It's not always going to go right. It's not always going to be easy doing all these drills, especially in Wales when the weather's wet. Willpower is key. You have to, if you want it, you have to work it. You have to do those drills. Okay, so I hope we've got to the introduction of discus and the importance of the entry positions into the full discus drill. I hope we got there. I hope we got something out of it. And then we have the understanding of these objectives. This will be online. This has been recorded. Okay, we'll come to a Q&A in a moment. So Q&A section. I'm just going to get some questions and hopefully we have some. If you have. Trying to find some questions. This. Sorry, I'm just trying to find who. So there we go. Sorry, so Tarian Phillips, what leg should you keep your weight on? I'm not sure which part of the throw you're alluding to there. If you just want to touch in which area of the throw that you want to ask about. If it's the start of the backswing, the weight is going to be shifted onto the right of the start, and that's what I mean, where you're going to move the weight on the right. If you're a right-handed throw, if you're a left-handed throw, the discus in the left hand, you're going to move onto your left side. Okay. Something from Finn, is the best coach. Is it so? Finn Kokora, is it best to coach cue turning the right foot into the center or rotating the hip? I think that is very down to the rhythm of the athlete. That is essentially you would want to work the foot, so the foot is going to be the first contact point. Okay, first foot in terms of triple extend or triple movement is the ankle is going to be the first point out. So you have to crank that right foot, but it's doing it at the last possible minute, okay, to get that sprint across. Something we can come into again at the Q&A towards the end, guys. Okay. And sorry, Ian, Jay, that is Jay, not Bray. It's the middle. Okay, that is great. How do you practice or work to be more reactive in the middle of the versus settling? Bill Richards. Reactive in the middle, you want to look at just drills, okay? So you have half-turn drills, South African drills. You can work on that. We work on with different weights, some D-balls. Then you obviously have your pyrometric, your jumps, your sprints. They can really work the overall athlete. Again, all these questions, I will get back to a longer email to you personally and those questions. Michael John, any suggested ratio of drills to strength and condition and technical throwers in throwing practice? Michael, that's very dependent on the age of the athlete and the training life of the athlete. I would suggest that when they're a younger athlete, it is very easy is easier to work the drills, to learn the momentum of throw, to find the rhythm, to work those key positions. As soon as we start putting them in the strength conditioning in terms of sense of loading them with a bar, they can become more aligned on their strength. which is good as you get older. None of the discus throwers in the world are weak by any means. They're very strong, but it's learning those movements when you can, okay? And especially if you're a younger athlete, you get too strong too soon, you throw in the 1.25, the 1.5 kilo discus, you can just tend to bully it. So I would suggest that, you know, I would throw more. Those 10,000 throws are going to take a long time. As a younger athlete, I would throw more and then build that strength and condition as you get older. Again, Michael, I will get back to you with an email directly to you, and we can discuss that further. Michael John, again, should this change pre-season during the season as a major comp approaches? I'm not 100% sure in what you mean changes in terms of maybe if you're on about alluding to the use of drills. As you come into the season, you don't really want to start breaking down the throw too much, and that is my personal preference. Many people have different. I would not slow down the throw coming into season, because essentially you need that speed. You need to be getting up to this high release velocity. So I would use those drills. The winter is there to work drills, okay? It's not nice going out in the rain and picking up discuses. So during the winter, drills are key, okay? You can use tennis balls, you can use anything to work those drills. You can throw those in a separate location to the discus cage. And then Tyron Phillips, what drills can you do? So Tyron, we did highlight some of those drills towards the end in the slide. And again, you will be invited to the Q&A Zoom. So once you're invited to that, and I will have videos of those drills. So it's hard to explain. As I said earlier, this is a practical session, should lean on from this presentation. So I will have videos of all those drills so you can find. Okay, Ian Leake, again, one more just a question. Sorry, Ian. So with younger athletes, they are too keen to throw off the back and tend to drop the body to the left, lock in their left foot. Yeah, so exactly, using cones, using training aids to get over the left-hand side. So you don't throw the discus off the back. You're very right there. You set up the throw, okay? That is the setup. You're building your cannon to get to the front, okay? So if they tend to, they drop the upper body, okay? That is another fault I maybe didn't allude to in my webinar, is if you pull that upper body around too much, the chest will drop, okay? You want to keep that chest nice and high in the sprint to accelerate across the circle, okay? And that is something that if they're not over the left side enough, they will fall. If they're not on the ball of that left foot, they can drop into the center. There are certain exceptions that have had a come over their left foot and not even turned their left foot and thrown far, which is great. But if you listen to the vesting with Daniel, his left foot could be better. But it's all about keeping the upper body and the left hip, as we showed, the left glute falling off the left on top. Okay, next question. I hope that answers, Ian. I will get back to these separately. Michael John, great. Tyrion Phillips, please can you give a few more? Tyrion, I will get your email for this. My email is just below you, Ryan.Spencer-Jones@welshx.org. If you can please just email me straight away now. I will send you a full list of all the drills, because otherwise I'll be talking for another 2 hours on drills, okay? And then last question in terms of Lenny, how can I throw forward no training? Lenny, you're okay. Just get back training and we're good. You need to get those 10,000 throws, okay? Do we have any more questions just before we shut it down? Okay, guys, well, I'm going to shut the webinar down. Everyone, once I get through the email lists of attendees, you'll all be invited to the Q&A session, Zoom session next week, where I have some preloaded videos up, and I would really like for you all to be on that. So it's great to see some local coaches, Jeff Ward, Tyrion Phillips, Adrian, Alid, all these guys on this webinar. Ian Robinson, Ian Lee, Jason Elwood, James Cameron, I do thank you, and sorry if I called out your name. I'm thankful for attending this seminar. That's because I saw your name said. Thanks for joining this webinar. You'll get the email list to the question, the Q&A, I know it's a strange time with the lockdown, but please keep going. Email me on my Welsh Flex email if you have any questions on this webinar. Again, it is pre-recorded, and we will get that out on social media in the coming days. Guys, I thank you. Please stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon.